All right, we are back. Welcome back, friends. Happy January the 8th. It is Monday, and I'm a couple of hours away from going to work. I'm on night shift for the next 2 weeks. So, this is episode 6. And before we get going with our review, I wanted to say that yesterday I was kind of proud of myself because I did 3 reviews yesterday, and that's the goal. That's what I'm kind of working on. But I found that there were multiple flaws in the checklist and so on and so forth. And I said to myself, well, okay, so I'm going to claw back because if you noticed on all the other episodes, I put down that we're in beta mode. And you know what? I think we're probably going to be in more like a testing mode or on shaky ground a little wee bit for probably the next couple of weeks anyway. So I pulled it back, and tonight, and probably for the next few nights, probably till the weekend, until I get everything ironed out, I'm going to stick with rather just the one review because I think that probably makes sense. And so, anyway, speaking of night shift, how many of you guys out there are working in a factory like myself? Perhaps going on night shift or you work shift work. I work all 3 of them, right? Nights, afternoons, and days, and so on and so forth. So, yeah. Anyway, so I'm getting ready for work, and one thing you got to know about me, and you'll get to see this, from time to time, is that I absolutely love my coffee. I love coffee cups too, by the way. That's my big bugaboo is if it's not growling death metal, it's coffee. I love coffee. So, all right, so let's move forward a little wee bit. And what do we have here today? Now, this band here I noticed before I go on to the next slide. They released their album back, I think, around September, October, but they came back and then they added some supplemental stuff back in December. Now, also, too, before I begin the review, is I noticed that the number of new releases have quieted down since around December 15th. So I think that all of our metal bands out there are taking a little time out, probably with their families at this particular time for the next 2 or 3 weeks. I've only seen about maybe 3 new releases, and maybe 1 or 2 of them they were singles for January. And I guess I don't blame them. But however, the data, if you watched any of my earlier shows that I had, was all the way back from July. I noticed that there were anywhere from 26 to or 25 or 26 to up to 41 new releases every week. It was like wildfire. And at that particular rate, I had made a prediction that there were probably upwards of like 1,500 to 17 or 1,800 new releases during the course of 2023. So, yeah, things are a little wee bit quiet right now in the new releases, but that's okay. I'm sure that things are going to start chugging again pretty soon as far as new music goes. All right, so we're going to move forward here. Now, here is the band that I wanted to present to you. And again, I believe that they released this album in September, and I had it on my scrolls, which are in that I present in Facebook on my metal magazine page. But this one here has a supplemental. They added 3 songs to this one, then they re-released it in mid-December. So we're going to move forward with this. Alrighty. All right, just a quick bio, okay? This is Bloodred Hourglass, and this is a band from Finland, and they were described early on as a melodic death metal band, but they moved towards metalcore. They formed in 2005, and I counted 6 full-length albums and a few singles. I didn't count all the singles, but there were some, I think 3, maybe 4 singles that they had. And so how do I work everything? Well, normally, if there's a lot of new releases every Sunday in the metal category from my Apple Music streaming subscription, I catalog all of the newest albums of the week onto a database, and then I add the list itself, like a visual list, to my Metal Magazine Facebook page. And of course, the aim is to review 3 albums a day, which I'm not quite ready to do because I got to fix up my checklist. I found yesterday's show was a little wee bit too long, probably a couple of repetitive things, so I got to fix that. And so the rules, I keep my reviews short, sweet, and very positive, guys. I don't want to speak badly about anybody because, quite frankly, I'm a fan and I've never acquired the want per se to sing or to play an instrument or anything like that. So I don't judge. And if you're ready, well, let's rock and roll here. Let's move forward. I got to stop saying rock and roll, though. Okay, so before listening to the album, I did an overview check, a first impressions check, and I'll explain the rules. And just a note, guys, whatever the outcome of this review, remember that these artists, all of them, they're worthy of you giving them a chance, okay? So, Bloodred Hourglass, here's the overview, and as I opened the page, I saw that there were now 13 tracks, okay? I only reviewed 10 of them, and as I look at the track listings and the name, of course, I'm thinking to myself, between the album cover and the track names, I'm thinking to myself, this is like a metalcore, groove metal type deal, and I think that if the album cover matches the track names and the band itself, I should get pretty excited today. Again, I've never heard this. I just saw this album. So my first impressions before I played this album, I tried to visualize the outcome. And again, I always try to keep it positive, but in this case, I think I'm in for something really good this time. This is before I listened to the album. And I'm thinking to myself, probably growling death metal with this Black and Red Heart. So the rules are very simple. I use 9 different categories, okay, or criteria to describe what each album sounds like, and I keep it very simple. And I also do play-by-play, 3-word simple description for each song, just to let you guys know. Okay. All right. So this is the during listening observations, and the recording and sound quality. They're pushing it. I've heard cleaner recordings. I am not a big fan of staticky or distorted recordings. I can tell the difference. I can tell the difference between guitar distortion and vocal distortion and recording or technical distortion. I don't like technical or recording distortion whatsoever. And the production itself, the album itself it has raw elements, which means that to me, this band here is, formed in 2005. They're still very energetic, and they still have, they're still very young at heart, is what I'm saying by raw. But it's also very well thought out as far as track melodies, okay? All right, moving ahead, energy and intensity. The energy on this album is very high, okay? Rhythm and tempo was always on point. It was very, very good. Lyrical themes, emotionally charged. The vocalist sounds like a real fighter, and you could tell he was really into his singing and his craft while he was in the studio. I always like to add a genre critique because Apple seems to get their genres not right most of the time. So they categorize this as metal. I think metalcore, but I've never seen Apple use the word metalcore or groove metal or new metal or anything like that. So potential and prediction, could they go mainstream? And when I say mainstream, everybody, I mean, will they head toward radio or onward to like a bigger audience? Well, they certainly have the talent, but in the end, it comes down to their own choice. And it sounds like to me that they're pretty happy what they're doing. So the range, flow, and layout of all of the tracks are pretty much from beginning to end. You can tell that they took the time to arrange the tracks to tell a story, and it's very well done, very well laid out. Now, this part is very important. It's who are they similar to? I found that they are very similar to a couple of bands. One is Dark the Suns, another one is Wolfheart, a little wee bit. And for those of you who, who are more looking for a more familiar face, the band In Flames kind of comes in mind, but the vocals are way different. Nobody sounds like the fellow from In Flames, that's for sure. But yeah, it's got some similarities to the band In Flames. Some, not many. Next, I provide here a breakdown of each track, and to manage time, everything is just mentioned in numbers. I don't go into the track names or anything like that, and it helps me prevent mispronunciation, which is kind of embarrassing, especially with European bands or French bands, German bands, and stuff like that. I can't articulate and pronounce them properly, so I'll go with numbers. So track number 1 in 3 words all the way through. Track number 1, explosive, rhythmic, and melodic. Track number 2, very grinding, energetic, and big. Track number 3, growling, loud, and symphonic. Track number 4, chugging, flowing, and very powerful. Track number 5, melodic, tight, and punchy. Track number 6, symphonic, growling, and flowing. Track number 7, inspirational, lifting, and rhythmic. Track number 8, deep, energetic, and chilling. Track number 9, very vocal, very reaching, and very fast. And track number 10, epic, rangy, and deep. And as far as the other 3 tracks go, that's up to you. You guys are going to have to download it and stream it on your favorite platform for yourself. So also during listening, next I noted observations for both vocals and individual band members and what they play, like their instruments. And so it goes like this. Singing and vocalizations range from energetic singing to some pretty impressive tiger-like growling fry vocalizations. The guitaring, or guitars rather, melodic to very punchy rhythms. Bass guitar, it has a good amount of grunt, a really good match throughout with the drums. The drums and percussion, top-notch percussion. Okay, the drummer is really high-end. Additional sounds, symphonic and melodic synth stuff happening with this album as well. For those of you who like that kind of thing, this band should be very popular with a lot of you guys. But all of the tracks were very good, just to let you know. So, summary. We're getting close to the end of the review here, everybody. So, in summary, from the first impression that I had from the album cover to the end of the album, well, I was surprised that my actual prediction and the reality were decently in line. So, hey, I made a decent call there. I'm pretty happy with that. My favorite tracks were 1 and 10. 10 was the title tracks. However, emotionally, I give chills and goosebumps to song number 8. It had moments where the hair stood up on my arms. It was really quite good. Flavors, if I had to compare it to my favorite food, it would be tacos, because tacos are great to have any time of the day, aren't they? So what are tonality shades, light or dark? Well, I placed them in the light category. And I'll tell you why, because I sense that this band seems to, they have a lot of bright energy. Okay. And I think that they tackled this project in the studio with a lot of enthusiasm. So I went with a tone shade of light. And as far as colors, I would say blue and green, because you can sense you can that you can trust that they will work hard to bring more great music. And actually, with the other albums, I can't wait to dig into their other 6 albums too. So, what do I find the temperature of this album? Is it hot or cold? I'm going to say in between. It's in between. It's warm and fuzzy. And warm and fuzzy to me just means it feels good. Hide it from my wife factor? No, but I'll keep it on my headphones, to be very honest with you. It's a pretty loud band. And finally, is it going into my library? Yes, but I'm not fussy on the recording, to be honest with you. It does have some little wee bit of staticky qualities to it and so on and so forth. But because I am very big on rhythms, I will collect this and I will listen to it lovingly. And for yourself, guys, please make sure that you put this one into your collection, at least give it a try. It is really straight ahead metalcore music and it's very enjoyable. So that's it for today, my friends. Thank you so much for coming out. If you're going to work tonight, make sure that you stay safe because I want to see you guys again here tomorrow. Join me again soon for another episode of Full Metal Reviews. And finally, don't forget, please to subscribe and engage in the comments. Follow those links to my Facebook page and my new Facebook group. And please remember, everybody, to support your artists. Stream, buy the merch, go see them live if you can, and love them up really good in the mosh pit. And we will see you tomorrow. Cheers.